So Ideation Bootcamp, can you tell us a little about it? Like you just started it, how did it do, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, and are we live now? We're recording.
Yeah, we're live. There's 50 something people watching at the moment.
Great. I have the comments section up so I can see everything if you guys want to ask any questions or whatever. And apologies, I might mumble a little bit. I got sick, and so it caused my face to get paralyzed. And so it's going to go back to normal. But in the short term, I'm going to mumble a little bit. So my apologies. So I have this company called TheHustle. We own Trends.co. We own TheHustle.co. And we last May, I did this course called the Ideation Bootcamp with this guy named Gagan Biani. Now, the page here that you see up, the actual page looked a little bit different. So right below the video was like a checkout button. And so it looked a little bit better, but the copy's all the same. And this page was sent to millions of, 2 million people, a million people. And it did okay. It converted maybe 2% of people, and it made hundreds of thousands of dollars. I made that page from scratch. So I didn't code it, but I dragged and dropped it. I made the images. I wrote all the copy. And the way that I do copy, which I've learned from Neville, is I started with like a story that I wanted to like surround everything around. And in this case, it was, I didn't even say this. The Ideation Bootcamp is a course that I did where it was like 5 sessions and it was all live, kind of like this. And I'd prepared like 400 slides, a lot of slides. And over that course, I have this process for discovering businesses that we use for Trends.co, which is a research product. Basically all we do is research like cool opportunities. I just kind of explain that process as well as my process for coming up with companies. And, I launched this thing, and my way of building companies and the story that I revolved this around was that launching a company is kind of like writing a hit song, meaning most every single hit song has a whole bunch of similarities, like there's like chord structures that consistently work. Now, there is a bunch of art within the constraints of those chord structures, and there is a bunch of flair that goes into it. But in general, you see common themes in successful songs, and that's the same with business. Whereas like, like something like Facebook is definitely different from MySpace, but what makes Facebook similar to Twitter is a handful of attributes. And when you're searching for a cool company to start, you want to seek out those attributes ahead of time. So that's the story that I went with. That's
awesome. Did people read this? Did they comment on it, talk about it?
I have no idea if people read it, to be honest. When I launched this, I did it a little bit in a bubble where I showed Neville. And the thing about writing copy is typically for how much did this cost? This cost $500. For something that's $500, longer copy typically works better than shorter copy. And the problem with me writing this was that the people who I asked to read it weren't really interested, couldn't really give me good feedback unless they themselves were the ones who wanted to attend this. So I definitely followed my gut and just did the damn thing without getting too much feedback.
Well, so first of all, that's awesome that you just did it and then it was really successful. So that kicks ass. But I think what we could do is improve it so the next time you do it, you make even more money with the exact same page.
I agree with you. And by the way, Neville, do you want me to share this StreamYard thing on Twitter? I already did, but you want me to share it again?
Yeah, of course. You could either share it from Facebook or YouTube, whichever way.
All right, I just copied the link, streamyard.com/ the.
No. Don't share that one. Don't share that one. Don't share that.
Okay.
That will allow a lot of hosts to come on. I can give you the YouTube address right here. That's it. Yeah. Here's the
awesome.
The YouTube address. I'm also sending you in the private chat.
Great.
But, okay. So
I'll go ahead and share.
So while you're sharing it, I think one of the things we want to do is me and Dan are just kind of like talk about some ideas we had for the page. So keep in mind, this was already a really good page. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But what do you think of this, Sam? So one of the things I want to do is you already did one, right? Did you get any results out of the first one that you could talk about, or did anyone in the group like mention that they nixed an idea or found an idea through it or anything like that?
Definitely.
Is there like an example that you have somewhere or that you know of?
One off the top of my, I have maybe 500 bits of feedback that I can actually link in here. I'll go grab it in a second. But yeah, someone started a company that probably did $1 million in sales.
Started a company that did $1 million in sales. Do they don't want to be known on it, or they do? They don't mind.
I'll pull it up in a second. But what I will pull up is like testimonials that you for sure can use.
Okay, cool. Dan, can you make like a little testimonial section over here?
We're gonna do it.
I'm gonna make this real.
Let
Real
me
So
go into
one
my
thing
Google Drive and grab it.
Yeah, go for it. We'll work on this for a second. So one of the things that Sam didn't have when he was making this for the first time is testimonials about the product or any results, because it's the first time they ran it, right? So now that it's going to be the second time, they can actually put, so let's say his name is Mark whatever man. And so if he has a testimonial or something like that, that would be very, very powerful. So through the ideation boot camp, started a company that just crossed $1 million in sales this August, just 3 months after the boot camp. So that's obviously like million in sales chart. It'd be awesome if he had some sort of chart or something like that he can show. So for now, I'm just going to like steal some random chart. Yoink. Put a nice little border around it, and there you go. I think testimonials are going to be a big part of the new page. And then
okay, and I'm pulling them up. I have them up. I'm making a duplicate of the document so none of you scam artists get a hold of it.
Oh my God. Wait, is this something that people should not see?
No, I'm just joking.
Okay. You could also just paste into this doc like specific ones. So
really have maybe 500 lines of feedback.
Okay. So imagine like a little section that says Mark whatever started a $1 million company, and he has a little thing. Quote, and then a picture. That just adds a lot of credibility right away. And it sounds like you have a ton of these. I would also put like an anti-testimonial almost in terms this way. So let's say Jessica, whoever.
So like who this isn't for?
No. Sorry. So nixed a bad idea. So I think like you say.
There you go, guys. In the private chat, I can share this with everyone. But how do I post something in the private, or how do I post something in the
comments?
Yeah, I posted it in the private chat, but I don't have a bot to post something for everyone.
For the comments? Okay, here, I'll post it for you. You should be able to post in the comments at the top right over there.
I think you might need to create an account first.
Trends feedback. Okay,
so
I'm posting.
Yeah, I see. Okay.
All right, I'll pull this up too over here.
Hello, David Hauser. How are you?
What's up, David Hauser? How's it going? Hey, David. Yeah, there he is. What's going on, man? So I think one of the things that I was talking about is how much time people can save with this.
Yeah, and that's actually something that we mentioned. And I don't know, it doesn't work for this exercise, but we actually have a hype video that does a lot of the selling. And in that video, it's up top, but you don't have to watch it at the moment. But anyone else, if you guys want to watch it, it's trends.co/ideation-bootcamp, or just Google it. Anyway, yeah, that video, I spent a ton of time on that video, and it did a lot of the selling. And it talks about how our goal is to save you 10 years of time, for like 10 years of heartache and time, so you could just go ahead and get past the bad ideas.
10 years of heartache and time. So that's like, so right when you said that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. So up here, I actually wrote about it, like goals. Put some stuff down here of goals we can have for you. So our goal is to get you a place where you can quickly tell if an idea has legs or not. I think this is way better. Our goal is to save you 10 years of heartache and time. That's awesome. Like, that should definitely be on there.
Alex McClafferty, what's up, brother? How you doing?
See on here?
Yeah.
Sam, you doing okay, man? Yeah, he's doing pretty good. We'll save you 10 years of heartache and time. All right. I think that's a good one. So I do like the idea of saving time a lot. So I've been running with an idea for almost 6 months. It hasn't been working out. By using Sam's framework, we realized this company never become big. We ditched the idea and pivoted, and now we've got traction on the new company. Thanks, Sam.
Huh.
So obviously I'm making this up, but I bet within this like file of like hundreds of pieces of feedback, you probably saved someone a bunch of time, right?
Yeah. You could probably pull that document. Yeah. All right. There you go.
Lots of time spent on writing. Yeah. So I think that would be awesome to show that it also saves time. I'm sure you've seen a lot of people who spend a lot of time on a startup and they're like, why is it not working? What am I doing wrong? And I bet if they run some of this stuff by your framework, they'd be like, oh, that's why my company sucks.
Yeah, and for anyone watching and doesn't entirely, what basically we walked through in this a ton of different like math. Like, you can just do math and figure out what's your cost to acquire a customer, what's your LTV per customer, what's your total addressable market, and then you do a ton of research within that framework in order to maximize the value creation. And so with this course, the idea is you could kind of make some assumptions early on and be like, all right, this does or does not reach what I want to do.
All right.
And another story that we use, which didn't hit as hard as the song story, which is I was trying to find examples of great entrepreneurs who have created multiple huge companies in different fields. So, for example, Jack Dorsey with Twitter and Square and whatever else he's done. There's a guy named Wayne Huizinga who created Waste Management, CarMax, and Blockbuster. And then, of course, Elon Musk. And the idea was like, why do people who have multiple hits have multiple hits? It's like, are they great? What are they great at? And it's like, well, they just like definitely have a way of looking at the world. And I want to show you some of those ways.
Yeah, that's just I could see why that doesn't hit as hard. Like, that's cool.
Yeah, it did not hit.
Yeah. Do you do most of the people coming to this, they probably already understand the idea of frameworks, right? We probably don't have to explain that too much.
No, it was a relatively sophisticated audience.
Okay, cool. So one thing I also wanted to show, like, I know you have like a what do you get out of this over here? Like, you have like 6 live lectures, a private community, pre and post readings, Q&A sessions. That's cool. I thought this might be something a little bit better. You will come away with a framework for judging if ideas are worthy, and explain kind of, if you have a great idea, it'll help you faster. If you have a crap idea, it will kill it faster. Your goal is to save time. And then What about the community aspect? Like that seems like a big portion of this.
Yeah, and so what I did with this course was I did all this live. In the future, I'm not going to do it live. I'm actually in the process of re-recording the lectures, and what customers will get is one video on a certain day, and then afterwards they can ask questions, and me or some of my employees will be in the group to address some of the questions. And the group is kind of like Neville's group, but it's on Facebook, which I know not everyone likes, but it works awesome for us. And we were able to answer a lot of questions on Facebook.
I think the good thing for you is that people already know that your trends group is already really good. I mean, you just see like the comments on it. People freaking love that group. So I think they already know that. So I would probably put a whole section about the community.
That's cool. The reason why, I shared that to everyone just tuning in. Oh, wow. A lot of people are already on it. I shared the replies of our course, and it looks like we had 400 replies, 350. And the reason we did have all those replies is because the Facebook group was a great place to get talk to our customers on a regular basis. And they like talking to each other to the point of people were hosting meetups.
That's
wow.
awesome. This might be the best community I've ever seen on Facebook. I don't know who said that, but I know I've seen that in the group like a million times.
For trends, yeah.
So what about the ideation bootcamp? I'm assuming it's like got some of the similar DNA, right?
Yeah, just not as much, but yeah.
Okay.
And if you do Control F community, you have 25 instances.
Community. Nice. Let's see. Dan, if you could find some cool community quotes or something and put them below this.
Yep.
I mean, as you know, like I think the whole online course world is going towards community, right? Like that's a pretty obvious next step for the next generation of courses. It used to be, oh, I put out a bunch of videos of me talking and you watch my face just talk the whole time. But obviously the next step is going to be, can you build a community where people can share their stuff and bounce ideas off of each other, kind of like a real life classroom. So I think it's worth noting that they get to be in part of the community. Do they get like lifetime access to that community?
Yeah.
Even with like the new cohorts and stuff that start?
I couldn't hear what you said.
Did they even get access to the, like whenever you put a new class, like they'll still be in there?
No. So it's, yeah.
Sure.
There's this great course called consulting.com, and I don't know if this guy Sam Bevins is legit or not, but the way that he set up his course was definitely interesting, and we kind of copied it off that.
Bounce your ideas.
I see David Hauser. Thank you for saying the Facebook group. He gave me a left-handed compliment. The Facebook group is better than, or is easier to digest than the Trends emails.
Facebook groups. Yeah, there's some cool people in there. Let's see.
Claff agrees.
So this might be the best community I've ever seen. It would be nice to have some screenshots of it. What's the I'll look up the trend thing. Do you keep screenshots and stuff like that?
Yeah, I don't have access to those at the moment. I'm sorry. I could have prepared it though. But people, I'm gonna like sell everyone hardcore. Sign up for Trends, but people do love the group. And if you make something up, like if you make something up saying like this is the greatest thing ever, the likelihood that someone has said something in that vein is high. So go up, Neville, to the search and type in experience, because I asked everyone just the other day how they're enjoying their experience. And I purposely, I don't want to look like an asshole, but I purposely wanted negative feedback here. So you might see a little bit overly negative feedback, but you'll see 211 comments.
Nice. Signal noise, my favorite community. So it would be cool to put screenshots of this. And here's my tip on screenshots is always put a comment on what is happening, because otherwise a lot of people will post like a ton of screenshots like this. So you're basically giving me this chore to go read all these stupid testimonials that I kind of don't care about as much. So what I would do is something along these lines where you add the testimonial, but then say kind of what they're saying. So my favorite community, the value are people make it shine. I feel there are many resources. So I'd say Jeffrey says Trend is the best community he's ever been part of. I think it's really important to like make sure that you caption what is said.
Yeah, that's actually a great point, and I don't do that.
Yeah, we see it a lot where people just they'll take like a bunch of screenshots like this, and they'll just put it on their webpage like this, boop, and they'll be like, all right, cool, there's a bunch of screenshots. I'm like, dog, I don't want to have to read all this. Also on mobile phones, a lot of times whenever you put all these testimonies together, you literally can't read it. So don't do that. Make sure you caption each one with something.
Okay.
It's also a good way to structure your own thinking when you're putting the page together. You'll see like, okay, I'm heading on big angle X, big angle Y, big angle Z, so that you're not repeating the same thing over and over. Rather, you're building out the story like in a three-dimensional way, so that you're pulling in the right people and sort of addressing everybody in a layered way.
That's great.
One cool thing to put in here is the awesome people inside.
To the people just joining, we are redoing a sales page for a course we created to see people asking those questions.
Sweet. So
the link is somewhere in this chat box.
Community has seriously awesome people like Dud Ludlow, founder of Main Street. So this is a community you can be part of. Something like that. But yeah, I think now that you have all these testimonials and all that kind of stuff, that's great. The other thing I wanted to see over here that I guess people kind of know who you are. And is Gagan going to be on this next one? He's part of this next one also?
Just me.
Or just you? So what you might want to do is talk about what you bring to the table a little bit
Which
more.
I do a little
sort
bit.
of. You do a little bit. And I know, look, hey, I'm guilty of this too. I hate promoting myself. It feels weird, but I think that it's actually important for people to know that. So social proof stuff. So I think over here, put something like social proof. So about Sam Parr. And you've got like a little bit of a section on it over here. Let's see up at the top. You got your picture. Awesome. So about your instructor, Sam Parr. And then I want to take this and put it in bullet points a little bit more. So I like this, but it would be cool to see what you've done.
Yeah, Neville's a big bullet point guy, and I agree with it.
I love bullet points. I don't like nested bullet points though. Only normal bullet points.
What? I don't know what that means.
Nested bullet points are like this, and then you got like another bullet point under it.
Yeah.
Dan loves nested bullet points that get on his case. Hey, they're good for outlines. They're not good for copy. So I got yelled at a couple times for building them the wrong way. But yeah, I think this would help a lot just to like give a snapshot of who you are and also sort of associate a specific project or business to a specific result. So this might have been a failure, but this might have been $1 million business, a $10 million business, etc. Just to kind of, again, build out the character of you a little bit.
Founder of, Trends Co. Like, I don't think people know all this other stuff. Like, and then acquired. Who acquired?
You're getting the names wrong, but started a thing called Bunk that was acquired. Yeah, there you go.
There we go. Founder of Bunk. See, I think that's important to note. Founder of TheHustle. Founder of Million to Whatever podcast.
Yeah.
My first million.
Yeah, it's all right. And bought and sold multiple companies from 100K to 10 million.
This is making you look like quite a baller, man. Companies.
I know. It's funny how that works.
I also think, just going back to the community thing for a second, if you also mention how many people are actually in the Facebook group, in the cohorts, I think that also, you're highlighting the quality of the people who are there. That's great. But you can also just make a note of the quantity, because quantity has its own kind of social proof angle. It's a secondary.
It's not that impressive at the moment. You could say hundreds. You could say,
yeah. I would say that it's not actually the size of the community that's impressive. I think it's more the people inside of it. So
definitely.
I believe you already do that on the trends.co page, where you show like Jack Smith is in the group and all that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah, but you guys are confusing trends and the ideation bootcamp.
No, but trends, you do that where you show all the people in it. I think that's more important than showing like how big the group is.
I agree.
Yeah. So let's see, bought and sold multiple companies. Any other cool stuff about you that would show that you know what you're talking about? Did you do a podcast with Lance Armstrong?
Yeah.
So it might be kind of cool to just name drop a little bit of stuff. David, Hauser, all these like big dogs. Not Glassdoor, Grasshopper. So basically, I would kind of like make this look more awesome, because right now the only thing about you is right here, which is fine, but this just makes it seem more cool.
Okay.
Like you sound like you've had a lot of experience with like good and bad things, right? And I think there's a lot more. We probably won't mention that you sold booze online and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Let's see. Okay, introducing product bootcamp. So already this is looking cooler. We got some actual results. Like someone started $1 million company from it. I mean, that alone kind of speaks for itself. That's pretty damn awesome. It would be awesome to show someone who canceled an idea and saved time. I think that's pretty important. Is that true? Do people really care about that?
Is that true? What? Did people what?
That people really care about like saving time on their idea, like knowing if their idea sucks?
Well, I think so. And the story that I paint is like, you don't want to be 5 years into something and to realize like, oh my God, this is not going to work. And what we try to teach is like, you can kind of look ahead and figure out what's interesting and what's not interesting and save those 5 years and make it right in the beginning. So I think it works. I mean, I don't know, Neville. I don't know if you've been in that situation. Have you ever created something and you're like, fuck? You like poured years or months into it and you're like, oh man, this was off a little.
Well, yeah, I've definitely, I don't think it's like that. The way I've seen it was it's like I was working on something and it got harder and harder. Like I was working harder to make the same amount of money, because the tide was, it was like specifically e-commerce. The tide was changing for drop shippers. And so I was on this like downward slope. So I was working hard. I was making the same amount of money or more, but I had to work harder and harder. And I was like, this doesn't seem like it's going to end well. And so that's why I sold.
Right. And like you could have made changes in the beginning that could have addressed it.
Yeah.
Well, I think you probably could have, but
I think so about this framework, is it worth talking about the framework? Like,
there's many of them, and I could share the slides with you, but there's many of them. We go through multiple ways of thinking about it. For example, I'll give you guys one example. One way to find out interesting stuff is you find websites that you like and you use SimilarWeb to see how much traffic they have and to see where that traffic is coming from. And then you can use Built With, which is a great tool that shows you what software websites use. And so you can you could start seeing patterns of what types of software different websites use, and you can see where their traffic is coming from. And seeing that, you can kind of be like, all right, I'm going to make a product similar to this. I'm going to get traffic from X, but it's going to have this slight like deviation to it. Do you guys understand what I mean?
Yeah,
definitely.
And it's like websites, or for example, another framework is what I like to do is I like to look at the advertisements of cool companies. So I'll use Facebook Ad Archive or Moat.com, and I'll look at who they're advertising to. So for example, this company called Kettle on Fire, which is a bone broth business. I was curious how that works, and I used Facebook Ad Archive. And I saw that the majority of their banner ads had white women who looked like in their 60s, and they used like the word vitality in it. I'm like, oh, okay. Like these guys are clearly going after middle-aged women who want to, what's vitality mean? Stay young. I was like, that's their target demo. So I've just discovered a problem that these like white women think that bone broth will make them feel young again. Like, what else? Is there anything else in that same vein that can make them feel this way? Instead of bone broth, could it be some type of, I don't know, lip gloss? Like that's like a huge problem that, you know what I mean? But this is how like you discover ideas.
Oh, see, okay. I just learned something when you talked about that. So most of the time we've been kind of theoretical on this, but when you said that, I was just like, this is actually a pretty good idea. So you go over multiple frameworks then, right?
About 15.
Oh, so, see, I thought you were just doing one.
No. So another example is there's this idea that information wants to be free. And so great companies that have pounced on that are Zillow. So before Zillow, you had to use a broker in order to see the price of homes, how much it used to sell for, and all the other information that Zillow gives you. And what the founder of Zillow did is he unlocked that free information. Coincidentally, that same founder also started Glassdoor. And with Glassdoor, what it does is what it allows you to do is see what it's like to work at a company. Typically, that information that had a lot of friction. Like, you know, you'd have to like call people, and then you'd have to like get their honest opinion. And so, yeah, the idea with this framework is find information that wants to be unlocked and give it away for free and monetize via lead gen. And then we talk about ways to find information that wants to be free.
Dude, okay. This shit is awesome. So one of the concepts I want to like that you're kind of bringing up to mind is 70% content, 30% sales. So most people's sales pages is like join. And your life is not better for reading that sales page. Like I want the sales page to be so good that actually reading the sales page, people will be like, oh shit, I learned something. So we only talked about 3 of your frameworks, and I learned something on each of these. And I bet if you put like a framework find like this, websites you like, you similar web, and then give an example. Do you have a quick example of this one, similar web, that you've done?
Yeah. So WP Beginner. It's a website that talks about which software is best for WordPress specific stuff. And I used SimilarWeb to uncover that their top page is people looking for which type of email service provider is best. And in doing that, I realized a massive amount of people are searching for this. And that is not so basically what I'm trying to do is uncover problems that people are searching for.
Just showed us.
Because if someone's searching for something, that means they have that problem, right? They're looking for the answer to their question. And in doing that, you see people search like, what's better, ConvertKit or this other one? Or which one of these email service providers has X, Y, and Z?
That's awesome. Do you have names for each of these frameworks, or not really? You might want to name it. Might be helpful.
I do. I don't remember them off the top of my head. But I mean, I just call it, I don't know what I called it, But I can give you guys one more, which is
Fuck yeah, I'm learning something here.
How about fucking webarchive.com. That's another great tool that I use to come up with ideas. So it's important, it's like when you see someone do something amazing, it's really easy to look at how they're amazing and think like, all right, they just went from nothing to amazing. And when you learn the evolution, you can kind of understand their customer acquisition strategy and things like that. So what I love to do is I love to go to webarchive.com, and I like to look at cool companies and see how their messaging changed and evolved over time. And that teaches me what problems that people had. And it also teaches me how to start really niche down. So for example, you can, every company does, many companies do many amazing things, but it's important to be inspired by the early iterations of that, to see what niche they started with. So for example, Uber, it very strictly started with the black rides, and that was their niche. Or I don't know, Pandora, you can see the evolution. And that's actually quite helpful for coming up with ideas.
See how.
Yeah, the as you're talking about these, the thing that the common thread that I see between these is basically that you go completely out of your own head. You get somebody to help somebody get completely out of their own head and onto case studies, onto real tools, onto example-based learning rather than theory. And a lot of courses are theory.
That's exactly the point. The point of this is what we try to do is, first of all, we give you a formula, literally a math formula, which is LTV, which stands for lifetime value, minus CAC equals enterprise times quantity of people you acquire equals enterprise value. So that's your equation. And your whole goal in your business, if you choose to go big and build a $100 million a year company, is to maximize that equation. Or put other words, you are trying to create X value for a customer, and you are trying to capture Y% of that. And I am here to teach you how to where to figure out what value needs to be created and the best business models to capture Y%. So another example is you will discover that people want music. So you could say to yourself, well, fuck, I should just create Coachella. And then you look at the numbers of Coachella and you're like, God damn, Coachella's the biggest concert in the whole world, but it only does 100 million in sales. That's a lot of money, but it's way easier if you can just create some shit online that makes as much or even less money, but it's life's easier. So the X% or the X value that I've just described in that equation, that is the people want to listen to music and bond over music. But the Y percentage of that, the way in which your company has captured that value is fucking awful, right? It's a bad capture method. And so I teach people different ways to use this formula and look at the world to figure out new X's and new Y's.
When you talk about this interests people.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. When you talk about this concept, the X%, do people resonate with that?
I've never talked about that live. I don't know.
Whenever you talk about it in the course, do they resonate with it?
Yeah, I think so. But I never really got feedback on it. Did that hit?
So here's the thing. Whenever you're talking about it like this, something shifted in my mind from you're just oh, it's a Sam talking about how he thinks or whatever, to oh, he's following it. But this is math more than anything.
Yeah, it's math. So like I said, it's like a hit song. You I don't know, Neville, do all hit songs have 18 chord structures? Is it A, B, D, C or something?
Oh, same thing. Yeah. Chorus, rhyme. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I'm just going to teach you what that framework is, what that chorus, bridge, whatever bullshit is, and you can get creative inside of those constraints.
What was the equation you were talking about that the whole goal of your business maximize this equation? The X value Y, is that it?
Well, it's just yeah, so it's just it's LTV, so lifetime value minus cost to acquire a customer equals enterprise value. Yeah, and someone says the XY thing is interesting because it simplifies every business model. Yeah, that's my goal, is to simplify this so you can you understand what value creation is. So if someone like fucking comes to me and be like, oh, I created an app that helps people match roommates, I'm like, dude, do the math, put that through this equation and look at what your total value is going to be. And it's likely not what you want it to be.
Dan, what do you think of putting this in there?
So that's what I was going to say. Like I would keep that somewhere way high up on the page and basically make the point that, this is making it real. This is taking all the theory and all the ideas that you've been sitting on and, this and that, talking to people in like kind of fluffy terms and just like putting, actual hard numbers in. And by the way, I'll show you literally how to research the numbers to plug into that formula. This is like, it's at that point, very no brainer, especially versus how everybody else talks about this stuff. Customer avatars that talk about random stuff. The guy likes coffee or not. I mean, it's so irrelevant. Whereas if you have something that's so targeted like this, where you can look up people in your niche, you can look up competition, you can look up how to do it better, and then basically plug it into a formula that I have that ties everything together like this. I love that. Because I think basically you're having like a process. The frameworks make up a process, right? So The frameworks by themselves are wonderful lessons, like really, really fantastic lessons that you should talk about. But the process, I think that's like the killer thing. And the formula is really, like, to me, ties really well with that primary sales message.
And somebody asked, how do you figure out LTV? Well, what we teach is we give you this equation. I didn't make up this equation. This is just basic fucking business. Like this is just the numbers. Like I don't make that up. What I try to teach you is try to figure out how to come up with interesting assumptions to put into that calculator or put into that formula. So I'll give you guys one more example, which is someone launched a plant business, an indoor plant business based off my thing. And the reason they did it is I actually read the 1-800-Flowers report, their annual report. 1-800-Flowers is a publicly traded company. And in their annual report, they just had one sentence that said the fastest growing segment in our business is millennials who buy succulents online. And then in there, I just kept reading, and it said we pay this much money to acquire a customer. We make this much money per profit per customer. We make this much money throughout all the seasons. And they said all this type of stuff. And in doing that, I clearly could see that they pay. I could see how much to acquire a customer for. I could see that the money wasn't made on the plant. The money was made on upselling you to buy a pot. And the money was mostly made on Valentine's Day and Mother's Day and things like that, which is only like twice a year or 3 times a year. They had something where they made their money. And so, and then we found a few more stats, which was that 1 in 3 Americans own an indoor plant, but there is not one company that dominates that space. And so my hypothesis, my idea that I came up with and someone ran with it was that the online plant business is kind of like the online mattress industry in 2009, 2010, which is there's no real person capitalizing on it, but I think it's going to be huge soon. And because of my 1-800-Flowers, like just reading that, I saw, okay, so if I can figure out a way to get young people to buy plants throughout the year and I can upsell them on cool pots, I can make a shit ton of money. I can build $100 million company because 1-800-Flowers is multi-billion. So I was like, well, then you should have pots that, have artists, like some type of artistry on there, something like that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I just, what I teach is multiple that was one framework that I went through. I just can teach you 15 of them, and it's like it's simply ways to ideate, to see new ideas, to spot opportunity.
So that is pretty awesome. I feel like people watching this will probably actually learn something just from this. Look at a live example. Yeah. So just FYI, like obviously none of that stuff is on this page, right?
Well, you guys want to know something, which is I didn't have any of this course made when I launched that landing page. So we actually collected hundreds of thousands of dollars in pre-sales, and I had to go and make this I made it a week ahead of time.
Nice. All right. So I'm trying to think. So all the stuff that so far, so let's recap. So we've been working on the Hustle's ideation bootcamp page. It's already a great page, but we can make it even better. So one of the things we've suggested so far is add testimonials. So someone started $1 million company, perhaps that should be in there, right? I think showing people saving time and pivoting is also very important. I bet there's a lot of people out there working on crappy business ideas that they're struggling with, and they can use your frameworks to pivot the right way or just totally quit. Testimonials, awesome. I think talking about the community and showing some screenshots of the awesome people inside, like David Hauser, Doug Ledwell, all that kind of stuff. That's amazing. Beefing up your social proof. So I know you've done even more than this. I think over here, it kind of makes sense to brag a little bit. So maybe
I'm bragging.
Maybe say like 10 mil a year, whatever. Probably more than that by now, something like that. Founder of HustleCon, founder of Trends.co. You can maybe say, I don't know, it's kind of cheesy to say numbers like that sometimes, but like 1 mil a month or something along those lines, right? So beef up your social thing. And then I think I would really talk about some of these frameworks. I wouldn't go too detailed in it. Honestly, like small little things like this would be great. And then I really, really like this. I think your audience might resonate with this. I think you might want to run this by a few more people to see if this is too confusing to understand. Also, can I put enterprise value in the front? Doesn't it make more sense like that?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And then, so the goal of your business is to maximize and then I would put the frameworks. Framework number 1. Framework number 5 through 15 are all in the course. This would, I mean, I'd actually really like to hear you talk about like all these frameworks. Like you're getting me now. I kind of want to join this course. Damn you.
Same here.
Yo, I'm an investor. Do I get a free hookup? What's going on?
Dude, I'm re-recording it actually tomorrow. I'm going lesson by lesson, but we did this all live.
That's pretty awesome.
So, okay. So after all this, people get examples of each, which is cool. And then here's another thing I thought. Do they get access to you? I wrote this in the beginning. Do they get access to you on this?
I'm part of the group.
Okay, so you're part of the group. And on the calls, do you actually go through people's ideas live or anything?
Well, we only did it one time. In the future,
I think if you did that, that would be freaking awesome. And then some people, you could see if people want to, I don't know, maybe publish theirs. You can publish it live. I think a lot of people like to see it.
Yeah, we could. I didn't even think about that. I was definitely trying to minimize the amount of work needed to go into this.
Well, I mean, I think inside the course, you could probably do like one of the days is you just take, so after you do all the frameworks, you allow people to apply.
Yeah.
It. Yeah. Honestly, if you were doing these frameworks, it'd be cool. But I think the thing that would really cinch this is that in the course, you take 3 or 4 people, we review 3 students' stuff live. So I think if you did that, real student reviews inside on the calls.
Yeah, it sort of closes the loop.
Yeah, I don't think that would take you that much time. It would be fun, and I think it would really actually show people like, you know, your skills. Honestly, you might want to publish some of that stuff because that I really would like to see stuff like that.
Okay.
Let's see.
I'm gonna move.
David Hauser is sending me a message on Messenger. Something else. I thought he had something good to say.
Damn
all right,
it,
cool.
David.
Do what?
So, damn it, David.
What about David saying? What about a video of Sam talking about the course?
So
actually,
can you actually click that video? It's only 1.5 minutes long. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but it was a lot bigger on the page. It just looks funky now.
Here, I'll make it.
I thought it was a great video.
Parr. So because of my job, because I work at the Hustle, because I have HustleCon, because we have Trends, I've been able to see underneath the hoods of hundreds, maybe even thousands of different companies.
And I'm Gagan Biani. I started Udemy, which is worth over $2 billion today.
So So what Goggin and I have learned along the way is that there's a whole bunch of patterns and similarities between businesses that work and ones that don't. And so what we're obsessed with is demystifying that and figuring out what it is that they all have in common and what they don't.
Building companies is an art, but there's a science behind it. And we want to teach you that science, help you de-risk your idea before you even launch it.
This is a crazy time right now. There's a lot of uncertainty, but in my opinion, it's actually the perfect time to create something new, to create something from scratch, to create something that people love. And what we want to do is help you do that and to increase your chances of it actually working out.
Building companies is hard. Our goal is to make it easier for you. We don't want you spending countless hours, thousands of dollars, only to find out that your product wasn't the right idea in the first place.
So if you're building something new or you're iterating on something old, we'd love to have you. This lecture series, it's going to be live. This means you'll be able to ask questions along the way. We're also going to have a private community so you can communicate with the other attendees. So sign up now. Right after, you'll get a link from Goggin and I that will give you access to our community and next steps.
Thanks, everyone. We'll see you there.
Sweet. It's actually a pretty good video. But it sounds like you didn't really know that you were going to be doing these frameworks as much. I think I really think that the framework thing is amazing.
Okay, cool.
So when he says, like, I know in the video, Goggin says it, he's like, it's more of an art than a science. It's like, jerk me off, whatever, that's stupid. It just sounds like fluff stuff. So I think if you talk about the frameworks like that, show this, I don't know, for some reason, that seems far more believable to me than 99% of like all the business courses out there that just talk in very fluffy terms. So I dig it. Also, I like you with hair better, so.
Wait, what?
I like you with hair better. You didn't have any hair in this.
I know, it was quarantine. Dude, I did that in May. We all
went through that phase. All right. So is that it? Do we have anything else? Emphasize, chance to ask questions, get feedback. So we already talked about community, highlight the process. So we created the whole frameworks process. I think that's the most important thing we did in this. How many people are participating, have participated? I think more than this, like show the ballers is more interesting than the number. Screenshot, 2% conversion, Good. I think that's all. Dan, anything else we need to add in here?
No, I love the framework thing. I think it really it's a differentiator and also something that, people know they're missing this stuff. I can speak from experience. I know a lot of people who have started things who they sort of freeze when it comes to the actual numbers of the idea that they've actually jumped in on. So I think it's a great way to connect with people. I really like that.
Yeah, we wrote like a whole double the size of your sales page over here. Maybe not doubled, but probably when this is all done, it would be. Yeah, cool. Anything else that we should add that really resonated with people or anything, or did we cover it all, Sam?
I'm waiting to see the comments, but no, you guys pulled
a
lot out.
Let's ask people. I think there's like a 10-second delay. So when we ask something, so let's ask people what they think about it. Like if there's anything that they should, what do you think? What else should we add? I'll put that in there. So what else should we add to the page? Answer in comments. Let's see if this works. Boom. Oh, snap. All right. So if you want, what else do you think we should put on the Ideation Bootcamp page that we're missing? So we covered quite a bit already. I think we got most of it down. So
I have a question. David Hauser's viewing. For those of you who don't know, David's a buddy of both of ours, investor of my company. Sold his last company for I don't even know how much, $100 or $200 million. A lot.
He corrected me one time.
Yeah, whatever. He's incredibly successful. David, does this all make sense to someone who's been there, done that?
Oh, someone's asking, will there be a separate from Trends private Facebook group? That could go in a FAQ. Oh,
yeah.
Hey, Michael Bates, good. You bring up a good point. There probably needs to be an FAQ somewhere. That's a good point. I actually forgot about that.
So what's crazy is this course actually made hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it was just one page.
Course made thousands with one page. I think that alone is kind of cool. Although it's a little bit cheating because you have the power of the hustle behind you. So like it's a little bit.
Yeah, besides saying this right now, I've never said that publicly, and I don't intend to say that then.
Yeah. So David's saying, yeah, I love the frameworks. Okay. So I don't know. I'm sold. Dan's sold. It looks like in the comments, people are sold. David sold. So I say put the frameworks in there. That seems the coolest thing. Honestly, I don't think I've ever really seen frameworks like this.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Man, I'm really selling this. Hopefully it's.
Yeah. So I think what would be cool is you show like all the different frameworks and examples. And I think just going through with you, that would sell a lot of people. And seeing some live student examples, that'd be really cool. Like someone's like, I want to sell bottles of water. And then you run it through your frameworks. That would be dope to watch how you do it. Let's say,
well,
man, I think that's it. Like you've already got a great page. We added just a few things. And like, these are just a few things you can add to the page. You can have someone add all this stuff in like an hour. Like this isn't all that hard. So I think that's it. Anything else you want to add, Sam?
No. Is this how your process works?
Basically, so the problem here's the problem. If there's a really good page, I actually don't have much to say sometimes. So I feel bad when someone gets like a consult or something. Like, what do you think of this page? I'm like, it's perfect. Like it's really good. Whenever a page sucks, we have a lot more feedback. But yeah, this is how the process goes. We do this in our office hours with people all the time too. We literally
Are
go.
all these people your customers?
I don't know. We decided to stream this on the last minute, so I have no idea. I don't know.
Well, I can pimp you out, Neville. We've talked about me. I think I'm actually really good at this stuff, and the reason I'm good at it is because I did take Neville's course. I actually took the course before I even knew him, and then we became friends. So I'm not just saying this. So go ahead, buy it. Although it used to be called copywriting course, now it's just the same thing, but no K.
We literally just put out a blog post today about it.
I know. I saw it.
The main reason it was not for SEO purposes. It was actually more of this. it was more of that. it was getting to the point where it's difficult for people to like put that or recommend to companies when the abbreviation was like really weird. That was actually a legit problem a lot of people had. So we changed the name and we'll see how it goes from there. Yeah. So if you do want some feedback and stuff like this, we do it in the copywriting course.
And by the way, you'll notice it, or you probably do, but this is just the ADA formula. I literally wrote ADA out, and
yep, that's like the secret behind everything everyone writes. Yeah, cool, man. Well, let's wrap it up. That was a solid hour.
Can you do me a favor? Can you not put the revenue on this page?
I will not put the revenue.
You didn't really say
revenue, so
yeah, I know you're going to share it. Is there anything other like incredibly proprietary?
I don't know. I mean, 25 people are already 30 people are on this page already, so I don't know how.
Yeah, I know
that, but
I know. I just don't want to make it that easy.
You might want to take away the access for this.
I think that was just a private link, so I think you're good.
All right. Yeah, I know that
a couple people viewing it, so I don't know if they're your people or something.
I'll remove it.
Cool.
But cool. Thank you for having me on here. Send me that link because I'm actually re-recording this course tomorrow, and I will use your insights and make this good.
Sweet, man. Thanks for joining on and being willing to do it live for everyone. I think that's really cool. Honestly, I feel like I've learned something from this, and that's one of the goals we have with sales pages or sales emails, that even if someone reads something we're trying to pitch them on, that they should actually learn something. So that's where that 70% content, 30% sales stuff comes in. And just like writing this, I'm like, oh, damn, these are really good. Like I'm going to put these in my notes after this so I can remember this. This is awesome.
Well,
cool. Thanks, Sam. Hey, what's up, Kyle? Going. Thanks, everyone. I guess this is the end of the broadcast. I hope that helped. If you want to check out the doc, it's in the links, all that kind of stuff. Go check out The Hustle. Go ahead, check out trends.co. Go check out the Ideation Bootcamp.
I don't even think you can check it out at the moment, but we'll figure out. Maybe Neville, you'll help me promote it. But
they can join the wait list right now, so you can enter your email over there. You get it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I definitely want to see the updated version whenever it comes out. That'd be awesome.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Again, everyone. Thanks for joining. Thanks for playing along. Bye.